Wonderful. Batish. Yep. Right. Pour a little bit of myself.
Well, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day. This is Derek Stephen Prince here, and we are doing a live Q&A with the one, with the only, Mr. Paul St. Peter. Say hi to everybody, Paul.
Hi to everybody. Paul.
So, guys, this is something new. Actually, not new. We've been doing this a couple of times now. Those of you guys that are watching for the first time, make sure you subscribe to my channel. You can go back and you can see live Q&As with Steve Bloom and Laura Summer. But now, since we are live with Mr. St. Peter, we have him here with us this evening, and very appreciative of you being available for us on this Wednesday evening with your time. As people start coming in, I'm sure we're going to start getting questions. So the way that we'll do it, Paul, is as soon as I see those questions come in, I will go ahead and just let you know what those questions are, and then you can go ahead and answer them, pretty much.
Okay, and they will hear what I say from there.
Yep, absolutely.
Good. About a 3 to 3.5 second delay.
Yeah. So, for the people that are just now coming on, people who may not be as familiar with you, and I don't know who that would be because everybody should know who you are, but for the
Dang
some
right thing.
people who might not know who you are, why don't you go ahead and just, tell us a little bit about some of the characters that you've done and, the whole bio brief thing.
Sure. Let's start with the big guys going around the world right now that you and I have worked on, and some other things. Lots of Xemnas there from the very beginning of Kingdom Hearts onward.
Yep.
Kurama, the nine-tailed demon fox from Naruto. Also, I am Master Fu from Miraculous Ladybug, which is going around quite a bit. This is approximately 34 as an anime actor, and I go all the way back to Robotech, a million Digimon characters like you, Mr. Future Prince.
Yep.
And wow, more episodes of more shows than I can count. Let's just say it's a
Somebody just made a comment, Desperado Blaster. Do you remember that show?
that actually sounds like an attack.
uh,
Desperado Blaster, maybe.
oh, goodness. Mr. X and Mamo together. Mamo, from Lupin the Third. You were Mamo, right?
Yes, the Secret of Mamo, actually the title role in that particular Lupin the Third feature film.
Yeah.
Yes,
There you go. Cool. We definitely have some fans.
great character, great character.
And some one of the people is saying "Fist of the Beast King!" exclamation point. So
Yeah, absolutely. There's another Leomon reference. Fist
yes.
of the Beast King.
uh, definitely somebody already given you props. Voice of Wormmon. Oh, Otakuthon. Jeez. Oh, last year. Okay, so somebody was making reference to when I was attending a convention up in Canada, and I was talking about our ventures together on the show
Hmm,
as the Digimon Emperor and
okay.
Wormmon.
Fantastic.
So, I don't know. Well, you
Good
know what?
stuff. Good stuff.
Let's see. Why does Leomon die as much as Kenny from South Park? That's a question. That is an actual question. I couldn't have come up with that even if I tried. Somebody
Okay,
has
well, with
a
that in mind,
so
um,
somebody has a comment for you. Zemnis always scared me as a child, but now he is really cool. All right. Uh, Somebody else making a comment, hoping that Anime Fargo doesn't get canceled. Ah. Another props to
yes,
you.
you're.
Your voice as the fox in Naruto is great. Injured Chimp, you are not very late at all. We are just getting started, so you're good. Da.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Since you voiced both Wormmon and Zemnis, uh, this person says, I always tease saying that you're frightening a Digimon in the Kingdom Hearts series. Okay.
Well, I like the crossover thing. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't imagine Wormmon even Digi and go against Zemnis.
Somebody else commenting, you and I is like the dead dog from ACR. I'm drinking and listening to you all talk. It's great. Miss you guys. Well, thank you,
Oh.
loser. Anime Crossroads. Okay.
Hello. Yes.
uh, ooh, somebody thought of
Good
Tyler
dead dog party.
Spicknell. Once thought of you doing the voice of Optimus Prime. Okay, at some point. Interesting. Okay. Wormmon is the
Well,
true
interestingly, I did
Wormmon is the true leader of Organization 13. Okay.
Shh, nobody knows that. Be quiet. It's the best secret in all of the game world. It's the best secret.
Another comment from another person
Don't
saying
tell
you
anybody.
should come to Montreal someday. It's very beautiful and a cultural city. You would love it.
I would love to. Absolutely love to.
You know what? The best way for you
I'm
guys to do
French
that,
Canadian descent, so I would love to do that.
yeah, well, suggest him to conventions whenever they're bringing people back.
If we ever get to go out in public, I'm I'm ready. Steve and I are ready. This.
Question is, if you and I could reprise our roles as Ken and Wormmon respectfully, would we do it? Absolutely not. I'm so done with that damn character.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
I know your passion for the character as well as mine. I think I could speak for both of us in saying that we would love that opportunity if it was given to us.
You bet. I'm on board with whatever you've got coming.
Did you do the armored guy at the end of Kingdom Hearts? Did you do another character besides Zemnis?
I don't think so, but there's a possibility that I would have picked an unheard of thought because often, as you know, Steve, they will simply have a few incidental characters, and if we have 15, 20 minutes left in the session,
Yeah.
they ask, would you mind picking it up? And of course, we say,
Exactly. Um, Question for you. How do you manage to get such a wide range when it comes to voices? Is it just natural or something you pick up over time?
Some of it is natural in the sense that I can use my voice in a lot of different ways. I've had as a singer, as an actor, and also as a voice teacher and speech teacher, I should say. Um, I've learned how to use and manipulate my voice in different ways. So, yeah, there's a bit of it that I was born with. Quite a bit of it though that I've cultivated over the years because as I always tell my fellow actors and people that come to the conventions, never stop studying.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. I got a very interesting question for you. Is there a particular silent movie that you enjoy?
Uh, yes, actually, M.
M.
Yes,
Interesting. Okay. Was that a Peter Lorre
you will
movie?
see. I was about to say that exactly. You read my mind. That was in fact Peter Lorre was in that Monstrous Killer. And, oh, oops, I just ruined it. I'm sorry. Oh no.
That's okay.
Spoiler alert.
I don't think at this point in time, considering how old it is, that if it's a spoiler for anybody, it's only because they just don't know silent movies.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Oh, let's
I
see.
love M. I love the kid.
Is there any character that you have ever wanted to voice but never got the chance to?
Oh wow, Naruto. Naruto. I would love to have been Madara,
Okay.
Kakashi Sensei,
Mm.
and absolutely in love with what the actors did with those. It's just they're good characters. I would like to try. Of course, in I would have loved to have done Raiden with all Richard Epcar.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Question for both of us. How did it feel for both of us into voicing a Digimon DNA Digivolution character named Paildramon at the same time with your voices synced together? Oh boy. You want to start with the stories?
No, no, yours is better. So you get to go first. Yours is much
Okay.
better.
All right. Well, the way that I remember this, and I could be completely wrong because we are talking 20 years ago now. But I remember when I was working with, I believe at that point in time when the Digivolution started happening, that was already when Mary Elizabeth started directing and took over after Michael Sorich and Jeff Nimoy and Bob Buckle stopped directing. And I thought, because we never go in at the same time to record, each of us as individual voice actors, for those of you guys that don't know and haven't heard this before, it's very rare that we are with another voice actor at the same time in the same booth. So, if anything, we just say hi and bye to each other as somebody's coming in and somebody's exiting the booth. So, what I thought might be better to do, and keep in mind, we're talking technology that is 20 years old. So, at that point in time, for those of you guys who might be sound, engineer type people, Pro Tools did not exist. That was not even a thing back then. Back then, in order to record, you basically had three beeps. Well, no, we didn't even have beeps back then. We just had we had the script, we had the in time and the end time as far as the codes go, and you better start speaking as soon as you see your mouth starting to move on the screen, or else you're screwed and you have to do it all over again. So I figured, you know what? I'm gonna, because, I figured, why not just come in after Paul, and he'll record first and I'll record after. The thing that I didn't realize at the time is that with Paul's unique acting skills and with the way that things were going at that time, as far as what I just described to you,
the way that things were going,
it would be rare that I would actually, after listening to what Paul had already recorded, it would be rare that I would actually have that exact sync and pentameter that he had when he was recording. So I would have to often do it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and then, and then by like maybe the second or third time I'd get it. It would be rare that I'd actually get it the first time after hearing it. So, and it's like, if you didn't get it exactly, you, like I said, you had to go back and you had to redo it all over again. So, hindsight being 2020, maybe I didn't make the best choice, but it still worked. It's still obviously, one of the best characters, along with that storyline. And if I had the opportunity to go back and do it all over again, would I do it differently? Probably not. But, if we were given the opportunity to redo the entire season again, obviously the technology that we have now, I'd say, yeah, go for it. Let Paul do his thing. And, you just bring me in on Pro Tools and, move me around. So, alrighty. Did you have anything to add to that, sir?
Well, just as a little addendum to that, the first time they told the voice at the same time, they had Steve go first. I did it, and I listened, and I thought, okay, there's the pace. All right, there's a certain cadence to what Steve does. I'll go ahead and see about matching that. It went rather easily. It was the only time I did it, though, first, because I asked Steve to do it first now, because he wants the, I mean, you to do it. Steve wants the challenge, okay?
Yeah.
And you're quite right. If we were to do that sort of thing now, what they can do with Pro Tools, with compressing, moving, dropping in there, with all the different things they can do, it would be a piece of cake, and either one of us could do it.
Yeah.
In the old of us together, and we would have had to try to be like two members of a barbershop quartet to try to get it together,
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of along the same. You know what? Actually, question is for Wormmon. What? Okay, so this is a question for Wormmon himself, and the question is, what is your favorite thing about Ken?
Well, actually, my pen was down. There was something good inside him that we could save, and I think we did save him eventually. It's too bad it happened the way it did, but I'm kind of glad it did happen. Yeah.
That's precious. All right. Let's see. Oh, wow. So, somebody is going way back here. They remember meeting you from Anime California in Anaheim in 2015.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. I was there. Yeah. Yes.
Very cool.
That was a martini weekend, as a matter of fact, with Richard Epcar.
Was it?
It was indeed, yes. Or as Zemnis would say, indeed.
Okay, this is from Tyler Spicknell. Do you remember voicing Apocalypmon? And if you do, then do you remember recording the parts where he tore into his own arms and then immediately healed them? Okay.
I do vaguely recall doing that. It was one of those bizarre scenes where you have to look at each other, the director, the engineer, the actor, and just say it makes, and this is what we have to do. So yes, I do remember something along those lines.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, this is a funny little question. Paul, as Kurama, how often does Naruto clean your litter box?
When it comes to cleaning a litter box for Kurama, it takes a village.
And probably once a week.
Oh my goodness.
It takes it's an entire village to do that. So
Oh, let's see, man. We're getting some questions for your characters here. Do you mind me asking them to
okay.
you?
Oh, no problem.
Okay,
Perfect.
So here's a question for Zemnis. Your honest opinion of Vexen.
I will say of Vexen what I've said about Ansem. Simply pathetic.
All right. Do you have any favorite moment voicing Zemnis in Kingdom Hearts?
I would have to say when I got to one point where the writing in this particular case was very, very searching. One of my favorite moments, not the favorite moment, was when I said, "Do you see? A heart is just pain."
Nice.
Kind of like real life.
Yeah. I think for me, and this was kind of like a fanboy moment, even though I never followed his work, I do remember the first time that I went in to record, I think it was 2. And as I was coming into the voice booth, Haley Joel Osment was leaving the voice booth, and I was going, "Oh my God, that's Haley Joel Osment!" For those of you guys who remember his character. Oh, here's an interesting question. Well, just to clarify, Tyler, both of us are California natives, right? Are you a California native? No, that's right. No, you're not. You're from North Dakota. But you
No, I was born in North.
Your life, right?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as a working individual, until you got whatever would be considered a big break as far as voice acting goes, what were you doing to make ends meet?
Wow. I had a stint as a part-time restaurant manager. I filed papers. I've been, for a brief period of time, I was a short order cook. Um, and teaching with having taught at several universities, even though I've never been to college. It's been a big part of what I do, and as an actor, so it was part of being an actor.
Right.
But yeah, teaching and quite a few other things.
Cool. For myself, I also was in the restaurant industry, except I was a bartender. I was also a delivery driver, delivered packages to the stars in Hollywood. Got some funny stories about Richard Simmons and a few other people, Henry Winkler. Um, let's see, what else? You know what? I don't know. For us, every voiceover job is like a first job. So I don't know that at least for myself anyway, I can't necessarily say that I've made it because, you know, whenever we're done with a job, it starts all over again, you know? So,
Well, yes, in this particular part of the our story as actors, things have changed radically to where we're working, many of us at home. I have a booth now, in Allen, to where I've already done a couple of gigs, and they've gone pretty well. But we are starting over, and you're quite right, Steve, because uh, I remember I was doing an on-camera job, and one of the actors just finished, and he walked away and he said, "Well, I'm unemployed again." I said, "No, count yourself employed midnight again.
yep,
We have to start over and start over and start over on."
yep, absolutely. Um, let's see. There was a question that came in. Oh, let me see if I can go back to this. Hang on a second. Um, I actually can't. So, all right. Let's see. Oh. If you had the power to stop Disney from buying the Fox movie empire, would you? Fox could have just sold its Marvel rights back to Disney. I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. Is that really a question? I don't know.
It's a little confusing. It sounds like they start with didn't. Who's caught in the middle? Besides us.
Okay, I have a question, but you'll probably appreciate this. The question is for Ken. If anything, why do I consider Wormmon my best friend? Um, well, for those of you guys, and this is just what I can remember from the character, um, but I considered Ken to be a loner most of the time, especially since his older brother died, and the digital world was a way of him being able to just kind of not have to think about being social. Obviously, it was very awkward once he became one of the Digi-Destined in trying to fit in with the other kids. And I think once he realized, out of everything that he helped create, that Wormmon was the one solid thing in his life at that point in time that kept him.
There is something strange happening with the audio on your end.
Hang on 1 second, we're checking it out.
I can hear and understand you, but it's not in that lovely baritone that you have.
Mm. Ah, okay. So, hang on one second. We are seeing what we can do to try and fix that and remedy. While we are taking a quick, short.
They can't hear you either.
Ah, okay. Okay, so hopefully that's a little bit better. We had some technical difficulty because the power to my microphone just went out. Yay!
Have a lot to do with it, yes.
All right, but we are. Can you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. Okay. Dun. Let me see. Paul, have you done any looking into getting a Wormmon mask for going outside when you have to?
Well, I will now.
Hey, you gotta make use of that sewing machine sometime. You might as well make it now.
True. My mom is going to help me unjam the dang thing, so she was telling me on the phone the other day. She knows just what to do.
Yeah, good. Yeah, well, that sewing machine's only been stuck for how long? Almost a year now?
Well, about. I just haven't tried, and it turns out I'm doing the thread wrong anyway.
All right.
Yeah. So when I figure that out, I'll start making masks for everybody.
Yeah. Question. Do you have a favorite episode of Digimon that you can remember that you liked working on?
There was one where we were walking through a and what happened was something happened that scared me, scared Wormmon, and my character did this with his head like this, and said, "What kind of cue do you want to do this?" And so we went with it, and the cue came up, and I went, "Nah," and they got a big kick out of that. So that getting a laugh in the studio and knowing you get the
Oh my goodness. All right. I have a question for you. I'm kind of reading over all the comments that people are doing here. I'm trying to tailor them more to you because you are the guest of honor. Do you remember the spin-off that happened a while back, probably 7 or 8 years ago, Rock Lee and Friends? Were you in that as Kurama? Was Kurama in that?
Yes, I was. Yes, and the work I did on it years ago. So yes, it was pretty brief. It only lasted a short time, and I only did probably 5 or 6 episodes, and then it was done. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know where people can find that. You might be able to find it on YouTube, maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. Let's see. How was it like voicing Joaquin Valentine? in the PS2 game Shadowheart Covenant? Shadowheart Covenant. I guess that's a question for you because I don't even recognize that game.
To be honest, it was a while back, and I can't recall
Yeah.
specific experiences. I do remember that it was a good game with a good script. I do remember that much. I remember the good ones with the good scripts because they're fun. We really remember the bad ones with the bad matter.
All right, I've got a very random couple of questions for you by the same person. The first of which is, does Xemnas like sea salt ice cream?
If there's nothing else, but if you give me my choice, give me a raspberry Red Bull.
And the second question is, here's one you can do a little bit of backstory on. What kind of accent was Punch using in Cowboy Bebop?
Oh, okay. Actually, when I went in, they said they wanted to have my performance of an actor on camera that was Punch, no accents and dialects at all. So he wasn't sure what he wanted to be, and the producer either. So I was instructed to do sometimes a Mexican accent and sometimes a Texan accent. And as an option, I told them I could switch accents in the middle of a sentence. That's why you hear so many weird.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Here's a great question, which we can. It's meant for you, but obviously I know what you're going to reference as soon as you hear it. Have you done other acting work, for example, plays, Shakespeare, Broadway, because you seem to have a spontaneous historical voice in embodying characters from different times?
Wow. I should have worn a tie to answer this question. Wow. Wow.
Don't start with the wow. Oh no.
Steve.
It's. I think it's gonna start right now.
It can't be helped. You know.
You know he's gonna come in sooner or later, so it might as well be now when we're halfway through the show because we still have a little bit of time left.
He doesn't want to be late, so.
No. Forgot my watch. Anyway, all right. So, as far as other acting work goes,
yes, I have 11 seasons of the Nevada Shakespeare Festival under my belt. Regional theaters, I worked at the Old Globe Theater quite a bit in San Diego when I was quite a bit younger. That's one of the big regional theaters on the West Coast. I also had 4 years as a singer with the San Diego Opera Company and did 3 seasons with the Civic Light Opera in San Diego. In Los Angeles, quite a bit of theater from Waiver to Equity to Shakespeare on the Meadow in Palos Verdes, California, which was also a union production. So tons and tons and tons of theater under my belt, yeah.
Let's see. Do you recall voicing in Gungrave?
Yes, I do, and I can't remember what character I did.
There you go.
It's crazy.
I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but we'll give it a shot. Was it more fun playing Kurama when he seemed more evil and murderous before his backstory was revealed?
It's always fun to be evil and murderous, especially when I'm using that particular voice, because it's a thrill for me and it terrifies people which also thrills me.
Yeah.
But I had more fun when Naruto and I started becoming more like an old married couple. And we started sniping at each other, and he wouldn't shut up. And I would turn to him and say, "Knock it off, you little bastard." You know? So that was fun, too. It was a nice way that the character arc developed to where our relationship was different. But a wonderful role and wonderful times doing it, no matter what part of the 700 episodes we were doing.
Yeah, yeah. And has Kodoma's appeared in Boruto, right?
That's right. I've had probably, I would guess, at most 6 or 7 episodes, but I have come in there. The latest one I did, I only had one quick scene, and it was Naruto talking to me. And all I did was give him a hard time about being a bad parent. And that was it. My episode was done.
Okay. So, here's an interesting question. We seem like men of great taste. What is our favorite drink? And if it's scotch, which type?
You want to go first?
You know, my goodness. I don't, you know, I'm such a, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble.
Too late.
I'm not as much of a connoisseur as you probably are. I'll just drink whatever's in front of me. But I will say that I am a fan of Jameson.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have that in common. If I had the choice to sit down and sip something better than anything else, 12-year-old Jameson Irish whiskey. They brought up Scotch and 12-year-old rare Glenfiddich, single malt. Yeah, that Scotch if it's single malt. I'm not a big Scotch fan, but a good single malt is nice.
Okay. Here's a question for you from Captain Battleship, or Bobo. What was your funniest moment that you remember voicing Captain Battleship?
I don't remember the way the sessions themselves went because I was just so delightfully freaked by the nose hairs. So probably any given episode was a joy because it was just one of the oddest things I've ever done.
Okay. Do you remember how old you were when you moved to California?
I was 4.
4. Wow. And if I'm remembering correctly, you were down in San Diego?
That's right. I got to San Diego and stayed there until I moved here to Los Angeles in 1979.
Okay.
So about 19 years or so, 18 to 19 years in San Diego.
Oh, here's a nice question for you, sir. What is your favorite part about acting?
The best part about acting, of the industry, everything I do overall, the craft, is working with the people that I've gotten to know over the years. I mean, except Steve Prince, that loser, but I mean, oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, is this thing on? Oh, no. No, among my favorite actors that I've worked with in various different capacities would be Steve Prince.
Oh, thank you, sir.
But really, the best part is the people. And as much as I love the work, and I love the exposure and the travel and and the money,
Yeah.
but as much as I love all of that, if you really narrow it down, it doesn't really matter as much what the work is. It's the people you get to be with. That's what counts the most.
I think
that's my favorite part.
I think the same would be true for conventions, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Conventions. It's like a thing of the past in history now.
The C, don't use the C word. I'll start crying. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Question for you. Which Leomon death was sadder in Digimon Adventure or Digimon Tamers? So basically, was it sadder in Season 2 or Season 3?
Season 2, because if I'm recalling this correctly, because I had this way of just dying, and in a way they're similar. You go and you go,
Yeah.
But the saddest one was the time when I said,
Remember, you have the heart of a lion.
That was the hardest one.
Oh. Let's see. Ha ha ha. Oh, interesting question. So, how are we making ends meet now?
Well, let's see.
Uh,
As I say, I booked a couple of things and some other checks have arrived.
yes.
And so, working remotely, I have some money coming in from that at this point. I don't know if there'll be more of that, though. We don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of production houses have simply closed and they're not doing anything. Others are taking work and trying to get it done remotely with us. Um, Beyond that, a couple of residual checks have arrived. I'm probably okay until June.
That's good.
Crossing my fingers that some more work will come down the pike, and maybe by September or October, maybe we can actually go out again.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I was lucky enough. I didn't even see this coming, but I was lucky enough to have saved a little bit of money from some of the past conventions, and so that's kind of keeping me afloat for now. Other than that, the only other money that I've received so far has been from stuff that I recorded last month, which I'm just starting to see come into play now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's yeah, it's an interesting time we're in right now.
Yeah.
Oh, great question for you. How many languages do you actually speak fluently?
Well, I'm still working on English. And I'm not doing very well, as you can tell, so um, I like to tell people that I am about halfway fluent in Spanish. Um, Beyond that, I speak a little bit of French, a little bit of Italian, um, and actually more Zulu than I do French.
Zulu.
Yeah, because I've studied history, and it's a lucky thing. Many historians write out Zulu words and phrases and then translate them. And because I'm a linguist and a phoneticist, I can transcribe those things into something that I can use in a session, which is why if you listen very carefully to Resident Evil 5, you will hear one of the Swahili zombies in my voice. I was actually a zombie in Resident Evil 5, but speaking Swahili. And so having a feel for languages and things like that, you never know what they're going to ask you to do.
Yeah. Um, do you remember the game Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise? Does that ring a bell for you?
Yeah, it rings a bell that I did it, but I can't remember,
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And I'm sure the fans understand this, and we try to stress to them when they're asking us questions. We do so many things.
Yeah.
It's just hard, especially when you have 3 or 4 different projects in a single day. By the time you get home, your brain's not only addled, but you're practically schizophrenic.
Yep. Yep. Let's see. I am as we are going through this, guys, I am trying to grab all of your questions. I apologize if I've skipped over any of them. Um, what I would like to request, though, just because I want to make sure that since we only have Paul for this specific period of time, if there's a way that you can tailor your questions more to him than me, that would be awesome. Since I can, I'm with you guys all the time, but him, not so much.
Yeah, but also Steve's much less interesting than I am. So yeah, you deal with him later, right? So. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh my goodness. Paprika. Do you remember the movie Paprika?
Yes, I played Detective Konakawa.
Yes. Somebody is asking, how trippy was the movie Paprika when you voiced Detective Toshimi Konakawa?
Very trippy. Trippy story, dreams within dreams, bizarre scenes that are almost like you're on an acid trip. Oh, can I say that? No. And I had a fantastic time with it, but it's one of those things where your eyes pop a little bit because there was amazing work done by the creator of that, by the writer, by the I have to say the artists put in things like if anybody that knows it says, tell me how weird it was when they're in that theater, and probably about 8,500 different kinds of stuffed animals and little creatures start walking in and doing all this strange stuff. So really terrific, but yeah, very, very trippy to do it.
Interesting. Was that? Well, I don't know anything about it. Was that live action?
Oh no, it was an
It
anime.
was anatomy. Okay, cool. Do you know if it's available anywhere?
Yeah, you can get it on DVD. I found it back in the days when you could go out to a DVD store.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you wanted to, I mean, I suppose Amazon has it. You could just have it shipped to you, but it is out there on DVD, and it does have my dubbed version of it.
Okay, cool. Your favorite part about voicing Wormmon?
Oh, my favorite part about voicing Wormmon was just being in touch with that sweet, lovable, pathetic, you just want to hug him guy every single moment. Um, it just touched something within me uh, that spoke to me about the pathos of the character, but also the strength. Wormmon never left. He
Yeah.
stayed, and he never stopped believing. Um, and also just because the writing was so wonderful, I got to say these charming things in that wonderful little voice.
Yeah, exactly. Here, interesting question. Okay. In a zombie apocalypse, what non-firearm and non-bladed weapon would you use?
Oh, I would have to use um, a crossbow,
A crossbow.
a hunter's crossbow, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
right out of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, there you go. For myself, I would probably use a Molotov cocktail. If there were never-ending Molotov cocktails, I would be using them left and right, and just burn them until you could. Yeah,
Torch them, just torch them all.
exactly, exactly. All right. I, I know this movie, the anime movie Redline, but I don't remember this character, and I don't know if this is for you or me. Gory Rider?
I remember Redline, and I think I played that role. It sounds vaguely familiar, but yes, I was in Redline. I know that.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there we go. So, if you were not well, I guess this is just if you know any of the other Digimon characters, but if you weren't voicing Wormmon, which Digimon would you be?
Um, wow. I did 23 of them, so it's really hard to remember what I did and didn't do.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
uh, oh shoot. I remember the one that the actor was Cy Prescott. Um, he had a character that fought me a lot. I would like to have played his character because I liked the way the script put him out. Because when Leomon got geared in the back and I lost the pupils in my eyes and I was possessed and
Ooh.
I was supposed to kill the kids,
Yeah.
I would go crazy and start fighting like nuts. And he tried to stop me. And he would say, "Leomon, stop." And I kind of like that because he was still trying to keep the peace. That was a
Right.
good character, but I can't remember I remember the actor that played it, but not the role.
Gotcha. Okay. Here, interesting question for you. With Zemnis, did you know anything about the story going into the booth?
No. We got versed in the kinds of characters we were playing and how we kind of sort of fit into the character. But going into the booth for any given session, especially the first one, of course, they pretty much just educate you on the spot very briefly. And as I like to describe in a panel when people say, do you know the whole story or do they let you watch the whole movie or whatever? I like to describe it this way. You go in, the director gets on the talkback and says, "Okay, you're in a universe where there are puppies and they ride dragons, and they go around setting fire, but only to like corn, and wheat is safe. And when you go home, your taxes are done by a cockroach. Okay, one, two, three, go." Uh, so it's like on your mark, get set, go, because they don't have time. Steve and I have gone through the same thing, and most voice actors go through this. When you go in there, they give you that bare bones thing, and they say, "Okay, go." And so we don't get that table read. We don't get to sit down with a script and have everybody go through it and be able to talk about it and be familiar with it. I wish there was time, but it's nobody's fault. That's the way the industry is set up.
Yeah. What was the most impactful role you have ever done, whether it be impacting you emotionally or just your acting?
Oh, wow. I guess I would have to say, probably Zemnis.
Yeah?
Yeah, Zemnis, because of the way the character fits into the story and has made a big difference. And around the world, I mean, I talk to people. I've been to cons in Ireland and Australia and Canada and England and stuff like that. It tends to impact people wherever I go, and it certainly has affected me in my personal life, my professional life. But also, it's the reason I got. Let's see, you can see this all right.
There you go.
And got the tattoo.
Yeah.
It has made a big difference in my life, and so I must say, in terms of affecting me in several different ways, it would definitely be Zemnis.
Very, very cool. Well, we may have time for a couple more questions, which I am seeing right here in front of me. So I will ask you these, and these will be the last two, guys. So the first one is, since you were in Kingdom Hearts, what would be your Keyblade?
Oh, Oblivion.
Oblivion.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Kind of fits. It's a matter of fact, I'm wearing Oblivion right now.
Ah, nice.
There it is.
Awesome. And last question for the evening, sir. And I'm looking forward to this answer. What would happen if Punch, Zemnis, and Leomon met each other?
Wow. I think there would be a heck of a fight between Zemnis and Leomon, and Punch would referee it and narrate it. I don't know. You think this guy's a big Leon? He's a very big Leon, and he's got a hammer. But the guy with the long hair, now he's a real doozy.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, guys, it is time. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Paul St. Peter for joining us this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure seeing you again, sir, especially during this time when we can't be with each other physically.
Yeah.
And guys, with that said, I will see you this Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. for episode 23 of Digimon Adventure 2. Until then, please, 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 be good humans, keep your feet on the ground, and reach for the stars. Love y'all.
And wear a mask.
Yes, absolutely wear a mask. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Take care, everybody.